G'day everyone, haere mai, welcome to the show. It's Friday the 25th of April, of course, Anzac Day. We are live tonight from the Auckland War Memorial Museum, scene of the country's biggest dawn service here this morning, and last night a gigantic movie screen onto which was projected these unique moving pictures from Gallipoli in 1915, lovingly restored by Peter Jackson and his team in Wellington. Thousands turned out here last night to silently watch it screen. We go to Gallipoli later in the program where we'll speak to Judy Bailey. Also tonight, actually she's there with Māori TV and TMC, the two big services involving Kiwis. It would be lovely to speak to Judy. We're also going to speak to the Kiwis there among the tour groups descending on Gallipoli, and some of them are members of cricket's Beige Brigade. We are with them later as they honour the New Zealanders who died there. But we begin in Italy in World War II with a man who survived but found it so very hard to talk about what he saw. Bill Fuller served with the Kiwis at the Battle of Monte Cassino. It was a terrible campaign. 54,000 Allied casualties, 20,000 German casualties. And Phil Greig has made a documentary about his grandfather's role in that campaign. This from Hamish, Clarke.
Kiwis in Italy, the battlefield at Monte Cassino, is a documentary about one of New Zealand's worst military disasters.
I went into Campbell.
Phil Greig wrote, voiced and sourced priceless pictures from around the world.
The Allies fought a war that became one of the least remembered of the conflict, the campaign in Italy.
More importantly, he made it as a tribute to his grandfather, Bill Fuller.
He was into his rugby, his horse racing, loved horse racing, and very much sort of kept up with all things Kiwi and was very proud to be a New Zealander.
This is Bill Fuller. He didn't want to remember the war, but before he died, he talked about it on a home video.
I went into camp in 1944 and I went away on the Amsterdam with 6,000 other blokes.
Bill left for the war and headed for Monte Cassino. He was part of the 27th Machine Gun Battalion. Little did he know that this would be the last major battle for New Zealand soldiers.
When I actually started looking up on the internet about the events at Cassino and the Battle of Monte Cassino, I was just absolutely shocked, actually, at the total destruction and the harsh conditions that they were under, and the fact that I didn't even know about it, and that I'd managed to pretty much get right through school without actually hearing anything about it as well, and felt very compelled, therefore, to actually pass the story on to the rest of my family.
The living conditions in the front line were terrible. Lived on bully beef and stews. We lived in bivvies, tents, little two-man tents, and that was terrible. It was cold and miserable.
The battle that Bill Fuller and his mates were about to embark on was one of the fiercest and costliest during World War II. In February of 1944, the 1,400-year-old monastery above the township of Monte Cassino was controversially destroyed in an enormous bombing raid by the Allies. The rubble proved to be a perfect defensive position for the Germans.
The 28th Maori Battalion managed to cross the near-freezing Rapido River, supported by the 27th Machine Gunners, including Bill Fuller. Though initially capturing the railway station using smoke generators, they lacked support and were repulsed as the American tanks couldn't get across the river, and as a result, just 2 German firing positions all but destroyed the remaining New Zealanders.
Cassino was a hell of a defender's paradise and an offender's nightmare. It was terrible.
Opened up their artillery. After this, Cassino no longer existed in anything but name. However, the objective to secure the town remained elusive. And the winter and the trip across the Rapido River had taken its toll on Bill Fuller.
I got pneumonia. I didn't have to go back to battalion. I didn't want to go back anyway, they were killing people.
In the end, the campaign was won, and the Allied forces were victorious. But success in Italy took time, and it was 20 long months before Italy was in Allied hands, and it saw amongst the heaviest losses of New Zealand lives in all of the Second World War.
Bill Fuller and the Kiwis were sent home, but struggled to return to normal life.
Had a reception at the Rotunda, the mayor and various people met us. And I saw my wife for the first time for years.
How did you adjust when you got back?
Oh, it was terrible. I was so used to men's company, I didn't know what to say to my parents or my wife.
That would be the norm for you all, wouldn't it?
It was the normal for all of us.
Some people are obviously affected by war differently. Some people come back incredibly hardened and bitter. I think the war to him changed him the other way, where it made him see a side of human nature that he never wanted to see again. So in turn, he had made a decision that he was only going to look for the good in human nature after the war, which was another reason that we just found him to be a totally remarkable person.
Hamish Clarke was the reporter, and if you want to see all of Phil's tribute documentary to his granddad, Kiwis in Italy, you will find a link to it on our website. It is lovely. Well, today was